Cool. Let's do it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. This is Jose Rodriguez, team leader of the REJ team with Keller Williams here in New York. Brought a special guest over here, Bryan Casella. Welcome to the podcast, brother. Really appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for having me, man. It's good to see you guys doing your own podcasts and making your own moves, man. It's dope because, when it starts in the beginning, you don't realize that other people are going to emulate what you're doing, which is good, man. And I'm really proud of you guys. BC, I've been in the real estate business about 7 years now, roughly, almost. Played basketball before I got into real estate, and really just kind of went all in, worked my ass off, started doing video, and here we are today where I have like 160,000 subscribers on YouTube or whatever. And it's really grown a lot more beyond real estate. And it's really been cool to help people, to grow my brand, to, make money, to do whatever the hell I want. And then have the platform built to where I can express myself however I want and do whatever the fuck I want. And really it's becoming more and more fun as time goes on. So it's fun, man. I'm having a blast.
Hell yeah, and I could definitely see that, especially from the new videos that you're putting up, man. But other than that, dude, how come you just decided to go after this whole incredible goals that now you're manifesting into your life? Like everything that you've acquired for yourself, the platform, real estate, even before real estate, professional basketball player. Like, where did all that stuff come from? Like, why did you want to go after all of these massive goals?
Well, even when I was playing basketball, bro, I already had visions of me playing in the NBA, being in the stadiums with the crowds. And in the back of my mind, that seed was planted where the world is going to know my name. So as time went on and I kept working towards that vision, after the whole situation with me getting injured and getting out of basketball, that had already been so burned into my subconscious mind, bro, even as a kid, that I knew, even though in that moment I was scared or didn't know what I wanted to do and kind of felt like my life was over, that seed was so watered and planted in my mind. I knew deep down it would manifest itself in a different way. That vehicle wasn't going to be basketball anymore. So when I got into real estate and I started doing what I was doing, just locally, I was getting a lot of attention right away just because of my grit and my work ethic. It wasn't because I was the best, with the skills. It wasn't because I was the best dressed. It was just because I worked so hard. And I got onto panels early on that the local associations would invite me to because they're like, dude, you got to get this kid. He's just working his ass off. He's on the phones every morning. He's going door to door. He's putting deals together, and he's just literally building something out of nothing while everyone else who's getting in the business is just scared and not doing shit. Then you introduce video, right, into the picture, which when I started, it was nowhere near what it is now. Like if you put real estate on YouTube back then, maybe like one episode of when Grant Cardone was on a TV show would pop up, and that's it. There was Greg McDaniel, shout out to him. He had one door knocking video, and that's it. Versus now you go like on my channel and there's like 1,000 something videos, right? With just me, not including everybody else. So right there, as I started making some videos for my clients and doing it on a small scale, I saw the effect that it was having on people, and I saw video as the future. And that's kind of when it clicked in my mind. I said, dude, I'm hustling and I can build my regular business and build my brand and reputation here, but I can also grow social media, which will be my kind of like my grassroots movement with my own effort to give me that global platform where people will know who BC is, Team BC and all that. And that's what's happened, bro. And, it's nuts because I'll get messages from people who are in like a taxi in Miami and they're like, bro, my fucking Uber's talking about you and he watches your videos and he has no idea that I know you, And then other people, like my boy one time at a Mike Ferry event is texting me and some guy leans over. He's like, oh shit, you're texting BC, you know him? And then just everywhere I go, bro, like I'll go to the supermarket now and people are like, hey bro, can I get a picture with you? I've been following you for so long. Like it trips me out still a little bit. At the same time, I'm not surprised because when you put out a lot of content and you've gotten a following, it's not just who's subscribed to you and who's liking you and who's commenting. It's look at all the other people who are watching that you don't know, right? I look at my channel views. They're well over 12 and a half or 13 million views now. That's a lot of views, man, for a YouTube channel, just my YouTube channel. So your brand and who you are and everything about you just spreads. And the reason I think it's been able to stick is because I'm an open book. Like I don't give a shit if people critique me. I'm willing to put it all out there, and you can not like stuff about me or like it. It really doesn't matter, but I feel like a friend to most people, even if they might not like some personal stuff about me. They're like, man, BC's the homie. Like, I'd go have a beer with him. You know, I'd go kick it with him, because it's just like I'm sitting in your living room having a conversation with you when I make a video. I'm not all fucking proper like a news anchor. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're going to discuss the top 5, right? And that's what everybody does. And we know as soon as you shut the camera off, you're not like that when you're just chilling at the house. So I really wanted to merge that at-home feeling and comfort with lethal skills, right? Good delivery, good communication, and that's what it's about. So I'm just doing it my own way, bro. And when you're a trailblazer in that sense, because I can say I'm probably one of the first to really push it and do it the way that I wanted to, you get a lot of respect for it. And then people look up to you. And then your brand is based on that. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, man. But I had the balls to do what I'm doing, and it's paid off. And for anybody to get in this position or work their way up, you're going to have to put yourself out there and have balls, because a lot of shit comes with it. But when you make it through that, that's when now you've, in quotes, made it, and you have that kind of that momentum, that brand, and that recognition that you've been fucking fighting for and been wanting, but you got to earn it.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I 100% agree with that. And I could testify because when I first met you, I remember I was just only looking at you like through the YouTube videos. And then when I met you, I was like, oh shit, it's BC. And I was like, he's the real deal. You know, it's the same thing as the videos. That leads me to the next thing I wanted to ask you is, why do you think that people feel the need to be somebody else on video versus in real life?
Well, bro, it boils down to this. Everybody has grown up getting advice from who they get advice from, right? So if our parents were broke and couldn't rub 2 pennies together, but they gave us money advice, what was our thought process behind it? Well, they're my parents. Of course, they're going to tell me what's right. Of course, they're going to be honest with me. So whoever was deemed an authority to you, or who you perceived as an authority, whatever advice they gave you, you just took it as fact. So if I can give somebody a parallel example, you go to the doctor and you're perfectly healthy, and let's say you love doctors, you look up to them, and anything they say, you're going to believe, because that's how we were brought up. Doctor comes into the room and says, damn, bro, let's say he's talking to little Jimmy over here, and he's like, little Jimmy, I know you feel great, you look great, but hey, you got cancer and you got 1 week to live. I would bet my life savings that that kid, unfortunately, would pass away, because the moment the doctor said that, because he deemed him as an authority, it slips past his conscious mind and goes straight into his subconscious mind, and he's thinking, fuck, I'm going to die in a week, right? So a lot of people have grown up now with that kind of conditioning, because everybody's hypnotized, everybody, right? I just choose to hypnotize myself and teach you guys to hypnotize yourselves and take control of that mechanism, because we can't help it, right? And when you're brought up that way, you have a certain perception of the world and how you're supposed to be. So you have this inner voice now that's 2 voices. You have your own freedom of expression and individuality that's saying, I want to do this, right? Like for you, maybe it's, I want to grow my hair out, right? And dye my hair. But then the other side is, well, you can't do that. That's not professional. And, you know, mom and dad aren't going to like it. And, you know, what is my one client going to say? That's that other voice. So it's always these 2 voices in people's heads competing. I just have done the work to eliminate this one, which comes from the outside. And I've been able to get to a position where I use my own logic and reason, man, to be able to decipher what is factual information and what isn't, what serves me and what doesn't, and how I want to live. And from there, I make my choices, man. That's what's allowed me to do it. It's not about who likes me and who doesn't like me. It's not about, well, what is my family going to say? It's not about what are other people going to think, right? It's what works, what's logical here, what makes sense. Okay, somebody gives me advice. I ask myself, who is that person? Right? If a bum on the side of the street is giving me money advice, even if what he's saying is true, I still have to remember that guy is demonstrating to me that he's not responsible with money. Right? Now I know people say, oh, that's a fucked up example. You shouldn't say that. Well, it's facts, man. He's living in the street. So obviously there's a mismanagement or misunderstanding of money at some point. Versus if a gazillionaire who's a multi-billionaire sits me down and says, let me talk to you about money for 30 minutes. Dude, if the billionaire sits me down, I'm all ears, bro. What's up? And if he tells me something that clashes with a belief of mine, I'm seriously going to look at that and be like, okay, he could have a point, because he has manifested an extreme amount of money. So he must have some understanding and expertise around this. So part of it was me doing my own stuff, right? And having my own type of thinking and critical thinking. But also when I would look at people for examples, I looked at prime examples or examples of what I wanted, that high level in whatever category I was looking at. And when I combined those two, man, it started being very clear and easy for me to make the right choice. It's just what's right in most cases, bro, is not popular. And people are too fucking concerned about being popular and everybody liking them and everybody kissing their ass instead of just being effective. I want to be effective. I want to be great at what I do. And I want to be respected for that. Point blank. I'm not concerned with anything else.
Mm. I mean, I'm reading the book, the Evolution of Desire, and it seems like everything points towards increasing your survival value as a man and your financial situation. So how come, even if the book points to that, and we're instinctively wanting to grow, how come people choose otherwise? Like that doesn't even make any sense.
Well, again, you're pointing at what's very logical, right? And most people don't live that way. Most people are puppets to their emotions. We know that, right? So that's a great book, by the way. I've read Sperm Wars, I've read Evolution of Desire, The Mating Mind, I'm still reading, and then also The Red Queen. 4 great books on evolutionary psychology that I've recommended years ago that everybody needs to read. And what you're
Yeah.
saying is spot on, dude. It's just, I mean, look at the pickup world. Most guys get into pickup, and because money is such an insecurity to them, because this is why. First of all, people are so fucking insecure with themselves, they can't just admit to them and like their immediate circle to say, hey, man, I'm broke and I'm not good with money and I need to get my shit together. Most people are too fucking egotistical with themselves to even admit that. So if you can't admit that, forget about being a fucking real man, because then you can't even admit to yourself what you're not good at or what a weakness is to improve it. You want to sweep it under the rug. So you look at that same mentality now, and we look at pickup. People now are like, oh my God, I found something that will allow me to ignore money. This is what they think. And I can just get a little bit good at saying the right lines and I can get girls, or I can pretend to be a badass. Right. And that works until the girl hangs out with you and then she sees, bro, you live in a fucking shithole. You don't even have a car. Get the fuck out of here. So that reality and that little bubble that they create gets shattered because nature always wins. We know that. So the way I looked at it was that stuff made so much sense to me. Even looking at it from a logical standpoint, I said, man, I got to figure this shit out. So with a lot of people, bro, it's just that's the hard road. That's the path less traveled. That's the path of the most resistance, not the path of least resistance. And people flat out, bro, you know, especially in your age group, bro, because you're way younger, you're the next generation. People are fucking lazy, man. They want shit handed to them. They don't want to work. They don't want to deal with any responsibilities. They just kind of want to coast through life. Like, oh, I want to party it up in college and then just get my degree and get an easy job. And they live for the weekend versus us. We're out there every day having to create, where the next check and deal and video and compensation is not guaranteed. We have to earn it every day. You see, but that's what builds the character of becoming a man, increasing your survival value and everything else, because it's not just about money. It's about your communication. It's about how strong is your mind? How's your self-esteem? Now, are you in such a secure position yourself and strong enough position to where you can help those around you? Because I know you can put anybody around me and just being in my presence for even a couple hours, they're going to start changing. But again, I put in that work on all levels with myself to then ooze that shit out of my pores. So when someone hangs out with me, they're like, what the fuck? Like, where's this dude from? Right? So when I get that reaction from people sometimes, I'm not surprised. It's like, damn right, motherfucker, you better recognize. All right, let's get better. You know, you look at Kevin as an example. Look at his transformation as a man, not just a business person, but as a motherfucking man being with me for like a year and a half. And that was just concentrated training and a lot of work on his part, plain and simple. Right? It's just that is the key, bro. Nobody wants, and you're seeing this now, especially because you're knee deep in this stuff now. Nobody wants to do the work. Nobody wants to go out to the clubs with you or the bars at night and get rejected because they're not smooth with chicks yet. Nobody even wants to say, I'm reading the mystery method, which, by the way, I'm rereading it with Kevin right now.
Yeah.
Right? I'm telling girls, read the fucking mystery method. It's a great book. My dad's like, what book is that? I'm like, bro, it's a mystery method. You got to read it. He was like, oh shit, really? Like, there's no shame in my game. But a lot of people won't do that, bro. And that's why you have to earn this shit on every level. And they don't want to do it because it might make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I think there's, like we were saying before, with that other projected voice that's been inside of other people's subconscious mind versus that logical voice that's saying you got to go out there and you got to do the work. It tends to kind of twist all the wires. It makes people just not go after the things that are going to make them better and the things that they're going to have to face, like the red pill, blue pill analogy, you know? Have you ever had a time where you felt like you weren't as motivated, you know, because some of the people that I know and people that hit me up on Instagram always talk about, hey bro, I don't have that motivation, you know, I always see you have a lot of energy, you know, were you always like this? So I wanted to ask you, since you're one of the most disciplined persons I know, and especially being with you on the weekend when we hung out over for what was it, the Vince Kelvin event, just being around you, the discipline and the actions that were being taken towards the things that you were still doing. I mean, it was just like you were still focused, you were still on point. Why do you feel like people are so easy to give up what they have to do in their purpose just because they don't feel like at that specific moment? And have you ever experienced a time where maybe you didn't feel like doing something, or you were unmotivated, or were you always like sharp, disciplined, on the clock all the fucking time?
Okay, that's a multi-layered answer, bro. The first thing is this: I think a trend that's happening right now, and this again, now this is my opinion. This is why I'm stating this. I see a lot of talk about, and I see this in books, I see this in trainings, I see this from all the internet gurus, right? Because there's a fucking million of them now. Like, you
Yeah.
need to get clear on your big why, right? And they make this big deal about it. And on the surface, I really didn't have an issue with that. Now, as I started interacting with people more and being exposed more to this philosophy, I noticed the majority of people, when they heard that, they would get into this like hibernation mode where they go in their cave and they'll spend years trying to figure out what their why is. Now, when I took that, and it made sense at face value, but then when I analyzed it through my life, I said, well, if I'm going to go off that definition and I start defining, my whys in life, I noticed quickly when I put it to paper that my whys have shifted and changed over time, because life is dynamic and we as individuals always change. If you would have talked to me 3 or 4 years ago, one of my main, we can say, points and things I was really striving for was getting the fanciest, the best car, the most luxurious car or cars, because I was buying a little bit too much into the, I want to look good. I want to be the first one to get it, right? So it was more ego driven. But I've evolved in the last 3 or 4 years to where now I don't give a flying fuck about that shit at all. And I just want to get the cars that I wanted to get, not the ones for attention. And that's why I don't even really show my fucking cars anymore. I could give two fucks. I really don't, right? So that's changed for me. So with me, it was more the purpose of why I'm doing things, but getting clear on it. What I will agree with that they say in that philosophy is getting clear. Absolutely. You need to be clear. For me, it was many factors. Number one, I hated when I was a kid not having a lot of money and not having the freedom of money and having the stress of not having money and seeing it with my parents and them having to work fucking 18-hour days and shit. It killed me seeing that. Number two, I had a fucking chip on my shoulder because every breath I took, every step I took, everything I said, hey, I want to do that, everybody would come out of the woodwork and be like, you can't do that. Are you fucking crazy? What makes you think you can do that? Kind of like, as an example, when you post on your Facebook, for a lot of people listening, and no one says shit, but that one time you post some shit that people disagree with, everyone and their fucking mom comes into the comment section and starts talking shit. How dare you post that? You're an asshole. And they start just tearing you down. So imagine that, but in real life with everything I wanted to say. So I did have a chip on my shoulder too, man. And I would say, aside from that, maybe helping my parents a little bit, but those two main ones were my first initial like fire. So even when I didn't have motivation, I would just stop for a second and say, I can't give those motherfuckers the pleasure of seeing me get lazy or quit or doubt myself. Fuck that. Boom, I'd go. Another one, right? With the money, I'm like, damn, I'm nowhere near the goal that I want to be with my money. I don't feel like it today, but fuck it. Money doesn't care. And that end goal of my money is watching down on me right now, saying, I hope this motherfucker takes a day off because then I'm not going to pay his ass. Right. So I put that pressure on myself, but those things were like fucking oven flames in my body, bro, especially the chip on my shoulder. Now that's gone now because I don't have to prove shit to anybody anymore. But that was a big driving force for me in the beginning. And I could vividly remember conversations, times where people would tell me certain things and I would upload it in my brain and say, okay, I'm going to prove this motherfucker wrong. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but 5 years from now, I'm going to stand in front of this piece of shit and say, fuck you. You told me I couldn't do it. Now look at me, bitch.
Mm.
Right. And that may not be what I'm saying is the true thing for anybody else. I'm speaking to you from my experience. Whatever it is that your purpose has to be or what your driving force is, you need to become clear with it. And that's all I did. Now it shifted completely, bro. Now I want to give back. That's why I do so much with Modern Success now. And I added the live events and all this other traveling and speaking that I'm doing. You know, I'm jumping on a bunch of people's podcasts and doing all this stuff because I just want to keep giving and giving and giving and giving. Whereas 3 years ago, I didn't give a fuck about that 3 or 4 years ago. So that's shifting in me. It's just whenever there's a shift, I'm aware enough to catch it and I'm clear on it. So it's clear. It can be documented on paper. It's constantly on my mind and it's there. So if that's constantly clear and in your mind and you're not floating, like I call it, you're good to go. Where I think the problem is, bro, is people are too caught up watching your life, my life, and everybody else's life instead of focusing on their own. So I don't want people to live vicariously through me. I want you to create your own shit as we pass you the torch and create something bigger and better than I did, because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. You know, I think that people just need to stop being so lazy overall and just get after it. You know, one of the things that I used to do 2 to 3 years ago was when I was supposed to be cold calling, sometimes I would watch a lot of videos in terms of like personal development videos, motivational videos. And I realized that I was doing okay by watching those videos, but I was just doing it at the wrong time. I was doing it to avoid cold calling, or I was doing it to maybe avoid a specific conversation that I had with a client, maybe. So, what would you say to a person that doesn't want to face a specific obstacle or a specific thing that they have to do, and they're maybe like rejecting it by sweeping it under the rug, like you were saying, and focusing on other tasks that they may think that it's okay and it's doing them well, but in the long run, I mean, they need to focus on the shit that needs to get done, and they know deep inside that they need to focus on that. What would you say to that?
Man, I can say so much about that. This is something I learned early on in my journey that I want to say to people, and this is, it might not make sense, but I'll explain it. The universe is going to constantly present things on your path that is going to test you, and you have to learn your lesson. And if you do not learn the lesson and you fail those tests, it keeps repeating it over and over. However, when that lesson is repeated, it becomes harder, meaning you're digging yourself a deeper hole. Okay, I'll explain that in a second. The point I want to make before that is, to those people that say that, whatever it is that you want to do, let's say you said you wanted to get into real estate, you wanted to do sales, wholesaling, whatever the fuck it is, whatever task is presented in front of you now, you signed up for that shit. You asked for it. You said, I want to do blank. You went to your fucking seminar. If you went to it, you talked to me, you talked to Jose, you talked to somebody, and you're like, all right, I'm fired up. I want to go. Let's fucking do this. So where is that energy now when you want to make a call and you now get an emotion that all of us get? We all get the, oh, I don't want to make the first call. We all get that little nervous tick, that little sweaty palm. It's different for everybody. We all get it. So now you're going to let that little shit stop you from supposedly all the shit that you want to do and be a millionaire? Does that make any sense? What's the exchange there? You want to be a millionaire? You're going to have to exchange for it. Your time, your effort, your energy, your input, your services will have to be rendered. Your products will have to be sold if you sell products. That has to be done. You can't just show up and be like, well, I'm going to make $1 million. You're watching TV too much if that happens. So what I said about that lesson is this. You show up, you go to pick up the phone, the emotion hits you, okay, and you stop. You failed the test. Now, if you keep approaching that situation and not handling that effort that it's going to take to finally pick up the phone and call, the more you do it, the more difficult it's going to get if you keep repeating it. So if anything, what I would tell myself when I'm hitting that limit, we can say in my comfort zone, is I need to pass this fucking test because everything rides on it. My success, what I want, my life rides on this moment. And whenever you show up to that moment, whether it's the appointment with a client, right, you're picking up and you're talking to chicks, whatever it is, that's when you're showing up to, if we're going to make a comparison, the pearly gates. And the guy's going to be like, let me look at the list real quick before I let you in to see if you're deserving of this. The pearly gates of success, we can call it, right? It's all bright and shiny. You're in the clouds and you're going up the stairs. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm finally here. He's going to look at that. He's going to say, hold on. He's going to pull out his scroll and say, I'm going to look at all those situations where you got put to the test to see. And if I see fail, 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 I'm sending your ass back home. And that's the way I looked at it. Because the only people that know those moments when you open that scroll is you. You can go around and bullshit people and be like, oh yeah, I'm killing it, I'm making calls every day. But if you're only making one call or you're not making the calls at all, eventually, right, your reality will show that you're not a man of your word. So there's no other way to handle this besides you confronting yourself. So one thing I can give you, dude, before I pass it back to you is this. Many of you watching this right now, maybe you want to produce video. If you want to get better at that, watch yourself first. Film a video of yourself and watch it every day. Because when you put out content, right, or even if you make a call, you're expecting the other person to listen to you and watch you and be entertained and be like, yeah, you know, like I like this stuff and like it. But if you can't watch yourself, if you can't appreciate yourself on the camera, how the fuck can you expect somebody else to? That's got to be the most backward shit I've ever seen. So when I hear people say, oh, I cringe watching myself on video, the moment I hear that, I know they don't do video and they're probably lacking in many departments as far as confidence and self-esteem and all that. And everybody's been there. So have I. But you got to handle it. That, whatever that was, where that person said, I cringe, that needs to shoot up to the top of your fucking priority list of things to handle, because that has repercussions in every area of your life. You see, but nobody says this. They're just going to say, well, if you want to make video, Bryan, just buy my 3-step system to teach you how to make videos. And all they talk about is the equipment to get and all that. But if you can't get between somebody's ears and get them to understand why they're not making the videos and to make that switch be permanently on, then they're not going to fucking do anything. I know people who have bought, bro, stuff like this, super studio equipment, and they still don't do shit. And they spent thousands of fucking dollars. I'm like, I would rather you shoot the shit with the fucking potato and upload it, bro, with shitty quality and actually do it than fucking buy all this stuff and not do it. So, but see, the only person that can fix what I just discussed and what we've been talking about for 30 minutes is the person you see when you look into the mirror. And that's it. You can listen to my advice, Jose's, or someone else's. But when you shut that shit off and you're sitting there in the bathroom at night or in the morning brushing your teeth and you're looking in the mirror, that's the only person that can help you. I can show you the door. I can tell you where it is. I can give you the key, but you got to grab it. You got to walk up and open the shit and walk through. I can't do it for you. He can't do it for you. No one else can. And the way and the position that I'm coming to you from is experience. I've had to do that many fucking times. It's not easy. You're probably going to be in tears. You're going to want to cry. You're going to want to quit, but that's part of the process, because that's how you build character as a human being. There's no other way to do it. Reading a book and watching a video isn't going to build character. Actually fucking doing it is going to build character.
Yeah, totally agree with that, man. It's like you've been presented with that opportunity by that obstacle standing in front of you. You should be excited that you've actually got the opportunity to be able to face that obstacle, while many other people are most likely 3 obstacles behind. Like they haven't even reached that bracket. And as you keep tackling these goals and tackling these obstacles, you keep expanding that bracket, and now your environment gets better, your mindset gets better, your communication gets better, everything gets better. So what was one of the biggest obstacles that maybe you had to face that you could probably think of right now that you overcame, or that faced you and you overcame it?
Man, there's so many. I would say 2. One was being able to properly deal with outside opinions and criticisms. And then the second one that's, I believe, like parallel to that was impatience. A lot of people, and this is one of the reasons that as I started producing content and helping people, one of the first things I say is this shit's going to take time. If you're coming into doing whatever, character building, real estate, and you think you're going to get results overnight, you're going to be extremely disappointed, as I was. Because I had heard that a little bit, but still, me being younger and like, oh, I'm just going to work hard and work harder than everybody else and it'll come faster. You're fooling yourself. Yet we have been programmed as human beings to want instant gratification. At the most basic level, it's your phone. Your phone fucking dings and boings every fucking 2 seconds. What is that doing? It's conditioning you to want instant gratification. So now when I tell you, you're going to have to work your ass off for 3 months and probably not get shit 14-hour days, you're like, fuck this. I'm not going to do that. That's bullshit. But in reality, when you look at the scope of your life, is 3 months really that much time, or a year or 2 years? The time is going to pass anyway. 100%. So impatience for sure. But the second one was when you're too focused on outside opinions and criticisms, The first thing is this: you need to be the ultimate decision maker and authority in your life, point blank, period. Even if somebody superior to you in that category is giving you advice, you don't just willingly take it. You still have to take it through your process and say, okay, I'm going to accept it. You can't render that power to anybody else. And people in general of the world, citizens of this world, have forfeited that right a long fucking time ago. And you need to get it back 100%. Okay. Number two is, when you do that and you still stay engaged with that, you're literally giving your power to other people, which means you're going to be a fucking puppet. That's what's going to cause all these issues of, well, what should I say? What should I not say? What should I wear? What should I not wear? Where should I do this? Now it becomes this fucking fiasco in your mind where it's like, imagine like a shareholder meeting, right? For stocks. And there's like the whole audience, when in reality, it should just be you with your little gavel calling the shots. Now you're like, hey, I'm going to shoot a video. And the 300 people in your fucking shareholders meeting are all talking to you, giving different advice. What are you going to do? You're going to be like, what the fuck am I going to do? And that's why many people are sitting there not doing shit, because they're like, I don't know what to do. So-and-so said do this. So-and-so said do that. And so much of that is on the subconscious level that it just fucking freezes people. And that stopped me, bro, from working a little bit harder. It stopped me from making video. It stopped me from standing up for myself. Like, I would tell you guys the stories of like family parties where I'm like, you know what? Fuck all you motherfuckers and your bitch ass opinions. All you do is talk shit about me behind my fucking back. And when I show up here, it's all smiles and fucking handshakes. What's up with that shit? And finally, just being free. Now, I'm not saying bursting out on people like that's the right thing, but sometimes the situation calls for it and you have to do it to finally break that pattern and start to say, fuck what these people are saying, right? Because just like they have the right to give an opinion, you have the right to reject that shit. It goes both ways, and people have forgotten that. Oh, you're supposed to listen to everybody. Only if I want to listen to everybody. Just because you give me an opinion, like imagine if even the basic thing, oh, hey, bro, you're not brushing your teeth right. You need to do it this way. It's like, bro, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? They feel as if they can impose their opinion on you. And when you flip the script, anything I produce, anything I say, I tell everybody, make your own decisions. I'm not forcing you to believe anything I'm saying or any belief or philosophy. What I'm saying is listen and try it out and see if it works for you. Don't just take my word for it. And I've always said from the beginning, everything that I teach and talk about is for the doers, because as you do it, you start confirming what I'm saying. If you're just going to sit there on the outside and, oh, that doesn't sound good, it's not going to work. You actually have to put this stuff into practice. Yet the people on the other side who criticize me all the time, what are they doing? They're trying to shove their beliefs and philosophies down my throat. I don't do that. I say, look at the results that I'm getting with my beliefs and philosophies and how I live my life. You be the judge. Oh, don't judge? I'm saying, yes, judge me. Judge every fucking thing that I'm doing, because then it verifies everything that I talk about 100%. So I'm not in a sense scared to be under the magnifying glass or the microscope, because I'm a man of my word. What I say, I do, period. That's why I'm so open. Here, look at this, look at that. Here you go. So at the end of the day, bro, those were the two biggest things for me. And once I started handling them, and that's always a work in progress too. Like, I'm not where I want to be at yet, but I'm climbing higher and higher. And that, to me, if people can get their patience understanding a little bit higher, and you can really start to detach from needing or relying on 100% outside criticisms and judgments and not letting it really stop you. Now you enter, we can say, a speed and efficiency that very few people will enter. It's like a frequency, dude, that people admire and they love, but at the same time, they're dying to be able to do that. They're like, fuck, I wish. And a lot of messages that I get are like that. Hey man, I finally made my first video. I finally told someone to fuck off. I finally made new friends because of what you said and what you shared. And I think that's how we do it. And I've said before, and I'll pass it back to you, dude, the ripple of change in society and the world begins at the individual level. So again, we have to work on ourselves and make ourselves better, because then it helps the next person. And now we become the example that then enlightens other people and helps them kind of do the same thing. But it has to start with the individual. And what has society done? It's blurred the individual and try to put everybody into fucking groups and then make those groups fight each other to keep everybody divided. That's the problem.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And it sounds like it's a lot of inner game and inner work that you have to do to be able to project that out to the other people. Did you see yourself where you're at right now 5 years before? And where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years? Just to give everybody a perspective of maybe when they're starting out and they're looking 5 years ahead, that this shit is actually possible, and what you've been able to manifest, you thinking back 5 years ago to where you're at now.
Man, I could say a lot, dude. As far as like where my, we could say my communication is and some of the aspects of my character as a man, no. You know, I'm not surprised at the money I'm making, or we can say in quotes, the fame or recognition I have, because that was always in the back of my mind. How I've developed as a man, I'm pleasantly surprised, we can say, right? Because it's been a welcome change. And once I got a taste of that in the beginning stages, I went all in. So that was really cool. And then I'm glad you brought up inner game and mindset, because I want to say something that I believe I'm saying a lot more now. More people need to hear it though. There's been a false identification and misunderstanding of the word mindset and inner game. Okay, we have a lot of people bullshitting right now, selling pussy ass fucking bullshit courses that they label as mindset, when in reality it's 100% just fluff. Think positive, and it fires you up, and it's motivational. That is not mindset and inner game. Let's get that very fucking clear here, because I'm sick of people who know that I talk about mindset trying to shove me into that fucking category.
Yeah.
Fuck those motherfuckers, man. Okay? Because everything that I teach and that I've done has come from actual fucking experience. I'm not just parroting off what I fucking read in a book. Now, you as a listener, you need to understand that there's a difference between that. And for you to be at the top of anything, you're going to have the practical skills, of course, and be a high level practitioner, but you need to have the mindset, the beliefs, the philosophies, the inner game of a fucking champion. Because you can have a world-class skill set in whatever it is that you want. But if something as simple as your self-esteem is low, you are not going to get anywhere near where you would if your self-esteem was high, or if your confidence is low, or if your self-image is low, right? Or if you think of yourself lowly. Okay, I think of myself in my mind, if people could see it, they would think I'm fucking nuts. But that's what allows me to deliver at the level that I'm delivering at when it comes to speeches and what I'm doing, right? So I've done everything organically. I'm not paying for ads to get views and all that shit. All the 12, 13 million views and all this stuff has been 100% organic, with not the best lighting, not the best video, not the best audio, because of this shit. It's simply an inner game, inner state, a real one. And I really want to make that clear. People have been fucking it up because a bunch of idiots trying to make a bunch of money to people who are kind of buying their fluff are profiting off of it. But do not confuse motivation and positivity for mindset, because people who give you mindset are higher level practitioners who are speaking from experience. They can get into your thought process and upload and give you better thought processes and beliefs and philosophies that will serve you better and have you perform better. Period. Point blank. Imagine you go on a basketball court as an example. Okay. And I played at the highest level. What separated the best players wasn't the skill. Everybody had tremendous skill. It was the people who had the best mindset, the most confidence, and thought, give me the fucking ball. I'm the fucking man. Nobody can fucking stop me. They would rise to the top. They were the cream of the crop of that elite group because of how they thought and viewed themselves and their thought process in general. It wasn't anything else. And I'm sure I can say the same for top level pianists, bicyclists, any athlete, any actor, or whatever it is. You put them on stage, they'll be like, yeah, I'm the shit. I'm the best one on stage. But how does the average person attack them? Oh, well, you're egotistical. Oh, you're narcissistic, and all that stupid shit they fucking say, right? Because when I tell somebody your thoughts to you in your mind are sacred, you can do whatever you want. You can think however you want, right? That's different than action. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not breaking any laws. I can think however the fuck I want. So if I think of myself as, I don't know, Zeus, the Greek god, and that helps me speak better and perform better and be more confident, what's wrong with that? If anything, because the next guy says, oh, that's stupid. You can't think that way. I'm going to do better than he is. And I'll put up myself against that person any day. Even, I believe, if he has slightly better skills than me. Sure, I'll still go up against his ass, because the way I think is really going to affect the way I deliver in that situation of speaking. So this is a lot more intricate than people think it is. It's just we do not have the right representatives of it, bro. And that's the problem. And I hate when people want to shun mindset or inner game, claiming it's bullshit when it fucking is not. My biggest strides of improvement where I'm at today is 100% mainly because of mindset and inner game. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% can testify to that. And also, it seems like communication for sure has been a huge part, because it all kind of intertwines together: mindset, communication, the way you communicate with yourself, and the way that you communicate with others. So, I mean, I think that we've done it for today. Any final words to wrap it up? Maybe something that you would say to anybody that's embarking on a huge journey or looking at their goals and saying, holy shit. Any final words you could say?
You know, take from people who have walked the path before, but blaze your own trail and create your own path. You know, you don't have to regurgitate or copy what everybody else did. Take the best of what people are doing, what you resonate with, and do your own thing. You know, because when I look at advice that I got, it was along those lines. That's the advice I'm giving people. And because I had the courage to do some of the things that I actually did that are outside of the box, it's gotten me to where I'm at. Had I done what everybody else did, I probably wouldn't be known, and I wouldn't be on this podcast with you, and I wouldn't have anything that I have, because I would just be one of many. What makes you different? If you're not willing to do that and be different and assume and accept all the criticism and all that other shit that goes with it, then you're just going to blend in. And when you blend in the world, any world, let's talk dating, let's talk business, you're not going to get anywhere when you blend in. You have to stand out with your skill set, your communication, whatever it is that you're going to do differently. But that requires you to kind of blaze your own trail and do your own thing. And here's the key: whatever you do not apologize for it. There's no apology. There's no, when I talk to people, excuse me, sorry to bother you. Fuck that. It's hey, and ask a question. There's no apology. If you're a salesperson, do not apologize for calling people and knocking on doors. It's your fucking job, period. We need to stop being so apologetic and walking on eggshells, because society's trying to breed that. And it's fucking pathetic. And it just makes everybody, pretty soon, bro, it's going to be illegal to breathe in front of people because you're going to be bothering them. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. You're breathing my fucking air, man. But dude, great. It was great having you on the podcast, man. Thank you so much for making the time to come on. I know that you're fucking super busy. Where can people find you, your content? And obviously, I want to just personally give a shout out to Modern Success, because if it wasn't for Modern Success, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And same thing that you mentioned, bro. Like when I was looking back 2 years before I even had my license, when I joined Modern Success, you know, I expected to be successful in real estate. However, I didn't expect to develop as a man and the man that I am today, being so confident to be going out to venues and doing anything I really want, talking to whoever I want. Like the avenues that I took by embarking in the real estate world and joining the Modern Success, it's just been so much different than any other cookie cutter. Here are all the objection handlers. Just go say this to people and just focus on the real estate. Like what Modern Success has done for me has really molded me into a person that can just handle other things. And even if something were to happen to me in real estate, like I can go on any fucking other sales job. I can find any other job or any situation. And I know I could trust myself to figure it out. So I really appreciate you for creating that platform. And again, he has not asked me to fucking talk about it. I just wanted to speak about it because I genuinely feel that way about Modern Success. And yeah, bro, where can they find you?
Yeah, thank you for that, man. Just the name that you see here, Bryan Casella, that's my handle on everything. You put it in Google, you'll get my YouTube channel, right? I mean, I'm everywhere at this point. You can't not find me. So I'm not hiding under a rock.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for coming on. Guys, this podcast is going to be up tonight. So make sure that you share it with a friend that maybe needs to hear it. We've talked about a whole bunch of shit over here. So definitely share it, like it, subscribe, leave a review. And guys, if you have any other questions or any topics you want me to discuss, definitely let me know. And you guys know how to find Bryan, right? Bryan Casella, as you guys heard, he's not hiding under a rock. So don't be shy, guys. Thanks for coming on, and catch you guys in the next one.